Since the release of Security Breach's Ruin DLC, a common idea was that the future of FNaF will bring us to a carnival. People theorized that this could be expanded on with Help Wanted 2, but now Help Wanted 2 has come out. In this video, I want to talk about everything that hints at a carnival being important and what I think it means or what it might mean in the future. This will be my second theory on Help Wanted 2, and my first one came out recently, so go check that out if you haven't already. But without further ado, let's talk about the carnival. The idea of a carnival being relevant in FNaF ties in with a bunch of different things in the modern story, and the one issue with that is that because it connects to so many different things, this video might get a bit messy. So try your best to bear with me throughout the video, and I'll try my best to make sure you guys can understand as well as possible. I think what first got people considering the idea of the carnival being important was the Mimic's costumes of choice in the Ruin DLC. Costumes of an elephant and bird can be found in the Mimic's room, and when we trigger the ending with him wearing a costume, it is a hybrid of those two and a lion. Lions, birds, and elephants are all animals that connect with carnivals. However, they also connect with the circus. A lot of people have been mixing up carnivals and circuses, and also jesters and clowns, and while these things are similar in some ways, they are not the same. The jester suit from the epilogues is not Baby, because Baby is a clown and not a jester. But what's weird is that there have been constant references to both carnivals and circuses. If these connections are meant to build up to something, then if I had to guess, it could be a combination of a circus and a carnival. Either way though, the costumes of the Mimic do seem to connect with the carnival. Speaking of the Mimic though, in the Tales from the Beatlex epilogues, the main antagonist is of course the Mimic, who appears in every single epilogue, except one. The idea of him appears in this epilogue, but he himself does not. The second Tales from the Beatlex epilogue was mostly set up, in that it had to get all 8 of the teenagers into the pizza place so the next epilogues could happen. But during the epilogue itself, not much happened. It was a bit slow and uneventful. Most of the epilogue either takes place with the teenagers trying to make their way into the pizza place, or beforehand talking about going there while hanging out at a carnival. Yes, the thing that drives forward almost the entirety of the Tales epilogues is teenagers discussing the under construction pizzaplex while hanging out at a carnival. Now, it's time to talk about the stuff that actually pushed me to make this video, Help Wanted 2. I had idealized a video like this a few months ago, but I delayed making it indefinitely because I didn't know if I needed to, at least until Help Wanted 2 came out. But now that it has, I'm glad I didn't make this video before. In Help Wanted 2, one of the collectibles is this poster, a Fall Fest poster labeled 1970, but in the background of this poster, we can see a circus tent. There's a few things to talk about with this thing. First of all, it tells us that this circus connection goes all the way back to the 70s, a time before the main events of the series even happened. One of the most discussed connections to the circus with modern FNaF is the constant reappearances of Circus Baby. That definitely furthers the connection, but if the circus or a carnival is what is being built up to, it goes even further back than Circus Baby's creation. On top of that, Fall Fest is something that we've seen before. In the Curse of Dreadbear DLC, the entire theme was Fall Fest 83. In Curse of Dreadbear, we also see a reappearance of a poster from FNaF 6 for the Spook Fest, pretty similar to Fall Fest, which has led me to believe for a while now that the Spook Fest and the Fall Fest are the same thing, with Spook Fest being an updated version of it specifically for Halloween. This poster from Help Wanted 2 indicates that the carnival and the circus connect with Fall Fest. Not only that though, the date for this poster is 1970. The carnival happened at Fall Fest 1970. Where else have we seen 1970? In Ruin. In order to get the Brazil ending, you have to go off the path Gregory tells you to, and you come across a cardboard cutout of Freddy holding ice cream. But in the files of Ruin, this cutout is labeled as 70s Freddy. I made a theory a while ago surrounding this that Fredbear's Family Diner actually opened in the 1970s, but that it didn't initially use springlock suits. Instead, it used fabric costumes like the ones found in FNaF 6. I believe FNaF 6 to be Fredbear's Family Diner reused, so the fact that it has costumes like this, I mean in the epilogues by the way, that are never used for FNaF 6 tells us that they are left behind from Fredbear's. To this day, that is actually one of my favorite theories that I've ever come up with, and I think it is still definitely true, and I highly recommend you watch that video to know more about the idea. But now, it looks like Fredbear's, while the first restaurant, was not the first Fazbear attraction. The Carnival Circus, or whatever it is, was the first Fazbear attraction. Freddy, who later became Fredbear and then branched off into his own character, originated at the carnival. This could also match with Fredbear's Singin' Show, which was on a poster we saw in Security Breach, possibly being an attraction at the carnival, or even what the carnival started out as before branching out. What it really seems like to me is that the carnival is what branched out to Fredbear's, and Fredbear's later becomes FNaF 6. FNaF 6 also has numerous connections with the carnival. You see, there's actually more in Help Wanted 2 that connects with the carnival. 3 of Help Wanted 2's minigames are ones ripped straight out of carnival games. Bonkabon is a spin on Whack-A-Mole. Those dart games and those games where you have to knock over a tower of bottles or something with a ball are things that you have to do in Phaser Blast as well. Plush babies end up appearing in this level too, a plushy version of Circus Baby, an animatronic obviously tied with the circus. The mascot of Phaser Blast is also Carney. Carney is a carnival version of Rockstar Freddy or Lefty, who is the main mascot of FNAF 6. And finally, there's Carousel, which is also a carnival ride. What makes the levels even more interesting is that the Carousel and Phaser Blast actually get set on fire just like both FNAF 3 and FNAF 6, further tying the carnival with FNAF 6. And on top of that, the nurse from the Helpy minigames, the FNAF 6 Helpy minigames, is literally named Carnival Nurse. But does the carnival also have connections with FNAF 3? Well, after Phaser Blast sets on fire, Phaser Blast FNAF 3 is unlocked with Springtrap as the main enemy, indicating Springtrap to be part of this web of carnival connections as well. On top of that, Phaser Blast FNAF 3 is a level that appears in a Curse of Dreadbear setting. Curse of Dreadbear takes place at Fall Fest 83. Fall Fest just like where the carnival happens. A cardboard cutout of Dreadbear also appears in the regular Phaser Blast levels, and the theme of Curse of Dreadbear is Halloween and the Jacko animatronics, and in the hard mode version of Carousel, a carnival themed level, a Jacko Moon animatronic appears. Not to mention the carousel is on fire here, and there's also already a pumpkin next to us on that level, further connecting the Fall Fest to the carnival. Back to what we were just saying, Springtrap somehow connects to the carnival as well. What I find so interesting about this is the fact that Springtrap ended up at Fazbear's Fright, the horror attraction. A horror attraction? That sounds like the type of thing that would happen around Halloween, doesn't it? Maybe at a Spook Fest or a Fall Fest, just like where the carnival happens. Now, I fully admit, some of these connections might be a little loose, but I'm just trying to give you all the information. Maybe not all the connections are intentional, but I think they're very interesting to think about. Maybe FNAF 3 was part of the Spook Fest with FNAF 6 happening shortly after. The only real problem with this is the amount of time needed for the Pizzaplex to be built, but it is possible to have been built really quickly with enough very efficient workers. So, I know that was a lot, so let me just summarize in case I lost you. The carnival happened during Fall Fest 1970 and used costumes, no animatronics. This carnival later expanded into restaurants, creating Fredbear's Family Diner with similar costumes, but after years of being open, Fredbear's transitioned into animatronics and Springlock suits. Later on in 2023, FNAF 3 opens up as a horror attraction for the Fall Fest, now renamed to Spook Fest, and Springtrap is brought there. FNAF 3 burns down, which connects to how carnival-related levels in Help Wanted 2 burn down, and FNAF 6 opens, a repurposed Fredbear's Family Diner to lure in the leftover animatronics. The suits used for the carnival remain in FNAF 6 unused because they were left behind in Fredbear's. FNAF 6 then burns down, and the Pizzaplex instantly begins being built on top of it. Got it? Good. Now, that's all pretty fun, but what if it goes just a little bit deeper? Remember how I mentioned the carnival from the Second Tales epilogue? Well, it happens just after FNAF 6 burns down when the Pizzaplex is under construction. FNAF 6 likely takes place shortly after FNAF 3, which was a carnival attraction for the Fall Fest, as I theorized earlier. Two carnivals around the same time. Or rather, the same carnival at the same time. The carnival from the Second Tales from the Pizzaplex epilogue could have been the same carnival that FNAF 3 was at before it burned down, the Spook Fest of 2023. I feel like all these connections are so cool and work together so well, but are they intentional? I kinda hope so, just because it makes everything tie together in such a cool way, but the big question of all of this is, what does the carnival mean? Like, I obviously think it means something, and I think most people would agree. It seems like the carnival is explaining the beginning of the timeline and also the way some other parts of the timeline worked. But the question is that all it's telling us? Is the carnival explaining things from the past, or is it also trying to hint at the future? A lot of people are expecting there to be a carnival, but if there really is, will it be part of the past or the future of FNAF? The thing about it being in the past is that I don't know if there would be any paranormal stuff happening at that time to actually make a FNAF game about, and it seems like they're going to make a FNAF game about this. I personally feel like it would make more sense for a game to happen in the future of FNAF, happening as a sort of following to Ruin. Maybe the Pizzaplex getting destroyed caused them to go bankrupt and they had to start small again. That wouldn't really make sense considering there's more than one Pizzaplex according to some mechanophobia, in which case one Pizzaplex getting destroyed probably wouldn't really make them go bankrupt, but who knows? Maybe it's just a smaller attraction that they're trying to replace the main Pizzaplex with. I honestly don't know, but I do think it's all for something. So is FNAF heading to the circus or a carnival? Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe we're heading there, or maybe all of these connections are just trying to tell us that we have already been there. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think the carnival or the circus is becoming important for the storyline of FNaF going forward? Do you think it connects to the origins? Do you think it's both? Do you think it's neither? Let me know in the comments. But if you did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to. And I currently plan on doing at least 2 more Help Wanted 2 theories and even more general content on the game, so stay tuned for all of that. But until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys!